In the gentle hush of an evening long past, the world settles into a rhythm that invites rest. The year is 1862, and the scene unfolds in a landscape both familiar and foreign, where fields stretch wide and rivers trace their winding paths through the heart of a divided nation. It is the time of the American Civil War, a period marked by both conflict and the quiet moments that pass between its battles. Here we meet three souls whose lives intertwine with the threads of history in subtle, meaningful ways. First, there is Thomas, a young soldier from the rolling hills of Virginia. His eyes, sharp and thoughtful, speak of a life lived with the earth beneath his feet and the sky a constant companion overhead. Thomas carries with him a small leather-bound journal, its pages filled with reflections and sketches of the landscapes he encounters. The gentle scratch of pen on paper is a familiar sound, a comforting ritual that anchors him amidst the uncertainty of war. Then there is Mary, a nurse from the bustling streets of Philadelphia. Her hands, skilled and steady, tend to the wounded with a kindness that speaks of deep compassion. Mary's world is one of soft whispers and the rustle of fabric as she moves through makeshift hospitals, offering solace where she can. Her thoughts often drift back to her family, to the letters she writes by candlelight, her words a bridge spanning the distance between her and those she loves. Finally, we have Elijah, a chaplain whose presence brings a calm reassurance to those around him. His voice, gentle and resonant, carries hymns and prayers that weave through the air like a soothing balm. In the quiet moments between duties, Elijah finds solace in the simple act of whittling, his hands shaping small figures from wood, each one a testament to patience and care. As the sun dips below the horizon, a cool breeze stirs the canvas of tents that dot the landscape, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth. The flicker of a lantern casts a warm, amber glow, illuminating faces weary yet hopeful. In this moment, the world outside fades away, leaving only the soft murmur of voices and the gentle rustling of leaves. This is a time for reflection, for stories shared in low tones around campfires, and for the quiet strength found in camaraderie. It is a time when letters are penned with careful strokes, each word a reminder of home, of loved ones waiting patiently for their return. The rhythm of life here is one of endurance and grace, where the simplest of routines offer a semblance of normalcy amidst the chaos. As you settle into the soft embrace of sleep, let these voices from the past guide you into a deeper rest. Let the whisper of wind through the trees and the distant call of a nightbird be your lullaby. In this quiet corner of history, where lives unfold with a gentle persistence, may you find the peace and calm that cradles the soul, allowing dreams to weave their gentle stories in the tapestry of night. As the night deepens and the stars twinkle gently above, the world within the camp continues to hum with the quiet activities of soldiers who find solace in the familiar rhythms of daily tasks. The soft crackle of a campfire, one of the few allowed, casts flickering shadows on the ground, highlighting the outlines of tents that stand as temporary sanctuaries amid the uncertainties of war. Nearby, a group of soldiers sit together, their uniforms a patchwork of blues and grays, woolen and weathered by long days and nights exposed to the elements. In the dim glow of the fire, a soldier named Thomas carefully mends a tear in his coat. The needle pierces the fabric with a gentle precision, the thread pulling through with a soft swish as he repeats the process with the steady hands of someone accustomed to such repairs. His mind wanders as he works, thinking of home and the loved ones who might be engaged in similar quiet tasks. The weight of the wool is familiar, a reminder of both protection and the burden carried with him through each day. A few feet away, another soldier, James, tends to the evening meal. The cast iron pot, seasoned by countless meals, hangs over the fire, its contents bubbling softly. Inside, a stew of beans and salt pork simmers, the aroma mingling with the crisp night air and bringing a sense of warmth and comfort to those nearby. The process is one of patience, of stirring and waiting as the flavors meld together into a simple but nourishing meal. The familiar routine of preparing food offers a semblance of normalcy, a reminder of shared meals at home, now so far away. As they wait for the stew to be ready, James reflects on the letter he plans to write later, a letter to his sister that will carry news of his well-being and small anecdotes of camp life. The act of writing is one of connection, of bridging the distance with words that offer reassurance and hope. The pen and paper, simple tools yet powerful in their ability to convey emotion, lie ready in his haversack, waiting for the quiet moments when he can pour out his thoughts. Nearby, a third soldier, Samuel, examines his musket with care. The wooden stock is smooth under his hands, the metal barrel cool and solid. He goes through the motions of cleaning and oiling the weapon, a ritual of maintenance that ensures its readiness. The task is methodical, each step performed with the knowledge that his life, and the lives of his comrades, could depend on its reliability. Yet in this peaceful moment, the musket is simply a tool, an extension of his duty and responsibility. The evening wears on, and the soldiers share bits of conversation, their voices low and measured. They speak of home, of families and friends, of the small joys and challenges that fill their lives. There is laughter, too, soft and genuine, as they recount stories that bring a touch of lightness to the night. The camaraderie among them is palpable, a bond forged through shared experiences and mutual support. As the stew is finally ready, bowls are filled and passed around, each soldier savoring the simple meal. The taste is familiar and comforting, a reminder of the sustenance that keeps them grounded and strong. As they eat, the night air carries the sounds of rustling leaves and the distant call of an owl, nature's own lullaby that accompanies their quiet communion. In these moments, the weight of daily objects, the coat, the pot, the musket, becomes intertwined with the weight of their experiences, the memories they carry, and the hopes they hold for the days to come. The tactile sensations of fabric, metal, and food are reminders of their humanity, of the lives they lead even amidst the backdrop of conflict. As the evening draws to a close, the soldiers prepare for rest, their makeshift beds offering a brief respite from the day's demands. The fire dies down, its embers glowing softly as the night deepens. In the quiet, the soldiers drift towards sleep, their thoughts gently easing into dreams of home, of peace, and of a future where they can once again embrace the simple pleasures of everyday life. And so the night continues, a tapestry of whispered stories, shared laughter, and the gentle cadence of routine. It is a time when the past and present blend seamlessly, creating a space where rest and reflection can flourish. As they settle into slumber, the soldiers find comfort in the knowledge that they are part of a larger story, one woven with threads of resilience, courage, and hope. In this serene moment, the quiet strength of their spirits shines through, illuminating the night with its enduring light. The gentle hum of the evening settled around them, wrapping the world in a soft, velvety darkness. The fire's glow flickered across their faces, highlighting the gentle curve of a cheek, the glint of an eye, and the quiet determination etched into their features. They sat close together, sharing the tactile warmth of woolen blankets draped around their shoulders, the kind that carried the comforting scent of home and hearth, woven with care and used through the years until its fibers molded perfectly to their form. Nearby, the kettle hung over the fire, the metal handle growing warm to the touch, as a slow, steady stream of steam began to rise from its spout. The scent of steeping herbs mingled with the crisp night air, a soothing blend that promised to ease the day's burdens. The simple ritual of tea making, with the clink of the spoon against the ceramic mug, the gentle swirl of liquid, created a rhythm that was both grounding and familiar. Each sip was a balm, spreading warmth from the inside out, and they savored it, letting the heat seep into their bones. Their conversation ebbed and flowed like the tides, touched by the gentle cadence of the cricket's song. They spoke of small things, the pattern of the clouds that day, the way the sunlight had danced on the water's surface, the comforting heft of the tools they'd used, their handles smooth from years of toil. These were not mere objects, but extensions of themselves, each bearing the marks of their hands, the sweat of their brows, and the stories of countless tasks performed under sun and rain. They spoke of the bread they had kneaded that morning, its dough soft and yielding beneath their palms, rising with a quiet promise of nourishment. The crust had been firm and golden, cracking under the pressure of their fingers to reveal a tender, fragrant interior. It was a simple meal, yet it held the essence of life's sustenance, a reminder that even the most basic of acts could be infused with love and care. As the night deepened, the chill in the air grew more pronounced, making the warmth of their gathering all the more precious. The clothes they wore were thick and sturdy, the kind designed to withstand the elements, yet softened over time to offer comfort. The fabric whispered against their skin with each movement, a constant reminder of the hands that had sewn it, the stories woven into every stitch. The stars above twinkled with gentle brilliance, scattered across the sky like 1,000 tiny jewels. Each one seemed to carry a memory, a hope, a dream. And they watched them in silence, feeling the vastness of the universe stretch out around them. It was a quiet reminder of their place within the world, of their connection to all that was and all that would be. In this space, their hearts were light, unburdened by the weight of tomorrow. They embraced the moment, the textures of life that surrounded them, the simple pleasures that wove the fabric of their days. The night was theirs, a canvas painted with laughter, whispered dreams, and the soft rustle of the world settling into slumber. As the last embers of the fire faded, leaving behind a gentle, glowing warmth, they knew that they were part of something greater. Each day was a page in their story, a testament to their resilience and the enduring light of their spirits. And as they finally rose, shaking the last remnants of sleep from their bodies, they carried with them the quiet strength of the night, ready to face whatever the new day might bring. As dawn slowly crept over the horizon, the soft hues of pink and orange began to illuminate the encampment, casting long shadows across the dew-laden grass. The gentle breath of morning air carried with it the scent of damp earth and the promise of a new day. In this quiet hour, the world seemed to hold its breath, suspended between the fading night and the awakening day. The soldiers stirred from their slumber, emerging from their tents with blankets wrapped around their shoulders to guard against the lingering chill. Their breath formed small clouds in the crisp morning air, a reminder of the coolness that still clung to the fading night. Among them was Samuel, a young soldier from Virginia, whose eyes reflected the quiet determination of one who had seen much yet still held hope for the days to come. He moved slowly, savoring the tranquility of the early morning, a brief respite before the activities of the day began. As he made his way to the small fire that had been rekindled to provide warmth and the means to prepare a simple breakfast, the soft crackle of the flames mingled with the gentle murmur of voices, creating a tapestry of sound that wrapped around the camp like a comforting blanket. The seasons had a way of leaving their mark on every aspect of life in the camp, shaping routines and dictating the rhythm of each day. In the summer months, the sun would rise early, its warmth spreading across the landscape, coaxing the soldiers from their tents with its gentle touch. The air would soon grow heavy with heat, and the men would seek the shade of trees or the coolness of a nearby stream to escape the midday sun. In contrast, the winter brought with it a stark beauty, the world transformed into a landscape of whites and grays. The cold seeped through woolen uniforms and chilled fingers and toes, making the warmth of a fire or a hot cup of coffee all the more precious. As Samuel and his companions gathered around the fire, they spoke in low tones, their words mingling with the rising steam from their tin cups. The warmth of the liquid spread through them, a small comfort against the cold that lingered stubbornly in the air. They spoke of home, of the lives they had left behind, and of the small joys that punctuated their days. The conversation was punctuated by moments of silence, each man lost in thought, the crackle of the fire the only sound that broke the stillness. In the spring, the world seemed to come alive once more, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the songs of birds returning from their winter migrations. The soldiers found solace in these signs of renewal, a reminder that life continued its cycle, even amidst the trials they faced. The rain would fall often, leaving the ground soft and muddy underfoot, but the men took it in stride, their spirits buoyed by the promise of warmer days ahead. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the camp slowly came to life. The sounds of daily routines filled the air, the clatter of pots and pans, the rhythmic hammering of the blacksmith as he worked to repair equipment, and the low hum of voices as orders were given and tasks assigned. The soldiers moved with a quiet efficiency, their movements practiced and sure, a testament to the routines that had become second nature over the months of service. In quieter moments, Samuel would find a secluded spot and retrieve a small notebook from his pocket. Its pages were filled with sketches and notes, a record of his thoughts and observations. He would sit for a while, capturing the details of the landscape around him, the way the light played on the leaves, the curve of a distant hill, the way the wind stirred the grass. These small acts of creation provided him with a sense of peace, a chance to lose himself in the beauty of the world around him, if only for a moment. The changing seasons were a constant presence, their influence felt in every aspect of life in the camp. They shaped the landscape, dictated the routines, and offered small moments of beauty amidst the challenges. And as the day stretched on, the men continued their work, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of nature. The cycle of the seasons was a reminder of the passage of time, of the endurance of life, and of the hope that lay in the promise of a new day. As evening approached, the sky transformed into a canvas of deep blues and purples, the stars beginning to make their appearance one by one. The air grew cooler, and the soldiers gathered once more around the fire, their faces illuminated by its warm glow. They spoke softly, their voices blending with the crackle of the flames and the gentle rustle of the night. In these moments, they found comfort in each other's presence, in the shared experience of their journey, and in the knowledge that they were not alone. And so, beneath the vast expanse of the sky, they settled into the night, their thoughts a gentle murmur that mingled with the sounds of the world around them. The seasons would continue their cycle, bringing with them new challenges and new hopes. But for now, they embraced the quiet peace of the moment, their hearts lightened by the comforting embrace of the night. In this shared space, they found solace, strength, and the quiet assurance that whatever the future might hold, they would face it together, united by the bonds they had forged and the memories they carried within them. As the night slowly turned into dawn, the landscape began to stir with the first whisper of light. The soldiers roused from their slumber, the cool air brushing against their cheeks, reminding them of the day's journey ahead. The quiet hum of the camp gradually gave way to the sounds of preparation, the soft clinking of metal as gear was gathered, and the gentle murmur of voices discussing the route they would take. Horses stood patiently, their breath creating small clouds in the crisp morning air, while wagons creaked under the weight of supplies. Among these men was Samuel, a sturdy figure with a calm demeanor, hailing from the rolling hills of Virginia. His eyes scanned the horizon, a steady gaze that seemed to absorb the unfolding day. Samuel, like the others, was accustomed to the rhythms of travel, the way each day unfolded with a certain predictability amidst the unpredictability of their journey. He understood the importance of pacing, of conserving energy for the long stretches that lay ahead. As they set off, the earth beneath their feet was still damp with the morning dew, and the air was filled with the scent of pine and earth. The soldiers moved in a steady line, the sound of their boots a rhythmic accompaniment to their thoughts. Samuel found solace in the cadence of their steps, a familiar pattern that offered a sense of stability. The landscape around them was a patchwork of fields and forests, the occasional farmhouse dotting the countryside, a reminder of the lives that continued beyond the turmoil of the war. The journey by wagon was a different experience altogether, a slower pace that allowed for moments of quiet reflection. The wagons, laden with supplies, rolled gently along the uneven paths, their wooden wheels creaking in a slow, deliberate rhythm. From his seat on the wagon, Samuel would often watch the world pass by, the trees forming a canopy overhead, their leaves whispering in the breeze. There was a soothing quality to this movement, a gentle swaying that lulled the mind into a state of calm. At times, the soldiers would dismount and walk alongside the wagons, stretching their legs and feeling the earth beneath their feet. It was during these moments that Samuel would engage in quiet conversations with his comrades, their voices blending with the sounds of nature. There was a certain camaraderie in these shared journeys, a bond forged through the shared experience of the road. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the landscape, and as they traveled, the scenery shifted subtly. Fields gave way to dense woods, the path narrowing as it wound through the trees. The air was cooler here, shaded by the thick canopy above, and the sounds of the forest surrounded them, a symphony of birdsong, the rustling of leaves, and the distant call of a river. As the day wore on, they paused to rest, allowing the horses to graze and the men to take their ease. Samuel would often take these moments to write in his journal, capturing the details of their journey in careful script. His entries were simple reflections on the day, the weather, the terrain, the people he encountered. These words were a way of preserving the memory of their travels, a record of the paths they had walked and the places they had seen. In one of these entries, Samuel penned a letter to his family, his words filled with the quiet longing of a man far from home. He wrote of the landscapes, describing them in vivid detail, sharing the beauty he found in the simplicity of the journey. His letters were a bridge to the world he had left behind, a connection to the loved ones who awaited his return. As they resumed their journey, the day gradually shifted towards evening, the light softening as the sun dipped towards the horizon. The pace of travel slowed, the soldiers weary but resolute, their thoughts turning towards the prospect of rest. The road stretched out before them, a ribbon of earth that seemed to merge with the sky in the distance. With the setting sun, the landscape was bathed in hues of gold and amber, the shadows lengthening across the ground. The cool evening breeze carried the scent of wildflowers and the promise of nightfall. Samuel and his companions continued their journey, their silhouettes moving steadily against the backdrop of the fading light. In the gathering dusk, the world seemed to hold its breath, a moment suspended in time. The soldiers, united by the road and the shared experience of travel, found a quiet peace in the rhythm of their journey. As they pressed on, the landscape gradually darkened, the stars beginning to emerge one by one, guiding them as they moved forward into the night. And so, beneath the vast expanse of the sky, Samuel and his fellow travelers continued their journey, the path beneath their feet a testament to the miles they had covered and the miles yet to come. In the gentle embrace of the night, they found a sense of belonging, a quiet assurance that, despite the distance from their homes, they were not alone. Together they faced the unknown, their spirits buoyed by the bonds of friendship and the hope that lay in the dawn of a new day. As the stars flickered into view, the night sky became a canvas of twinkling lights, offering a serene backdrop to the quiet activities of the camp. Samuel, along with his companions, began to settle into the evening, the day's journey leaving a gentle weariness in their limbs. The camp was a modest array of tents, their outlines softly illuminated by the glow of scattered lanterns, each casting a warm, inviting pool of light amidst the deepening darkness. In this quiet space, the ritual of letter writing began to unfold with a tender familiarity. It was a time when the soldiers could connect with loved ones far away, a moment when the distance between them and their homes seemed to diminish, if only for a short while. Samuel sat on an upturned crate, the rough wood cool beneath him, as he carefully unfolded a piece of paper. The texture was coarse, and the edges slightly frayed, a testament to the journey it had already undertaken to reach his hands. With a slow, deliberate motion, he dipped his pen into the small inkwell balanced precariously on a nearby rock. The ink glistened in the lamplight, a deep, endless black that seemed to promise permanence. As the pen touched the paper, the letters began to flow, each stroke carrying with it a piece of Samuel's heart. He wrote of the road they had traveled, the camaraderie shared with his fellow soldiers, and the beauty of the landscape that had accompanied them on their journey. He described the sunsets that painted the sky in vibrant hues, the kind that reminded him of home. Nearby, James, another of the camp's inhabitants, was also engaged in this nightly ritual. His brow furrowed in concentration as he penned a letter to his sister. He wrote of the small moments that filled his days, the simple meals shared around the campfire, the laughter that broke the monotony of long marches. Each sentence was a thread woven into the tapestry of connection, a reminder that, despite the miles that separated them, the bonds of family remained unbroken. As the letters took shape, the sounds of the night enveloped the camp. The soft rustle of paper mingled with the distant calls of nocturnal creatures, creating a symphony of gentle whispers. The air was cool, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and the faint aroma of pine from the nearby woods. It was a fragrance that spoke of nature's quiet embrace, grounding the men in the present even as their thoughts traveled to distant places. For Samuel, letter writing was a form of solace, a way to articulate the emotions that often lay dormant beneath the surface. He paused occasionally, his gaze lifting to the sky, as if seeking inspiration among the stars. Each pause was an opportunity to reflect, to consider the words that would best convey his experiences and emotions. The act of writing was meditative, a gentle release of the thoughts that had accumulated over the days. Once finished, Samuel carefully folded the letter, his hands moving with a practiced grace. He sealed it with wax, the process a small ceremony in itself, and set it aside to be collected the following morning. The knowledge that his words would soon traverse the distance to reach his family brought a quiet contentment, a thread of connection that stretched across the vast expanse of land. As the night deepened, the camp gradually fell into a peaceful silence. The letters lay ready for their journey, each one a piece of the soul committed to paper. In this shared ritual, the soldiers found a sense of unity, their individual experiences woven into a collective narrative that spanned miles and hearts. The night air was filled with the unspoken understanding that, despite the uncertainties of the future, the simple act of writing could bridge the gap between past and present, between those who were here and those who waited at home. And so, beneath the vast canopy of stars, the soldiers drifted into slumber, the promise of connection and the hope of reunion gently cradling them into dreams. The night held them in its embrace, a quiet assurance that, in the morning light, their words would begin their journey, carrying with them the love and longing that bound them to those they cherished. As the first rays of dawn crept through the window, casting gentle patterns on the floor, the house slowly began to stir. There was a quiet anticipation in the air, a feeling that today would be a day of connections and heartfelt exchanges. The letters, carefully sealed and addressed, lay in a neat stack on the table, waiting to be sent on their way. Each envelope was a vessel of emotion, holding within it the thoughts and dreams of the night before. In the heart of the home, the kitchen was already alive with the aroma of freshly brewed tea. The clinking of cups and the soft rustle of paper created a comforting symphony as the family gathered around the table. There was a certain reverence to this morning ritual, a shared understanding of the significance behind each letter. It was a tradition passed down through generations, a way to bridge the distances that life sometimes placed between loved ones. As they sipped their tea, they spoke of the letters they had written, sharing snippets of the messages they contained. There was a letter to a distant cousin, filled with tales of summer adventures and plans for the coming holidays. Another was destined for an old friend, a note of encouragement and support to brighten their day. Each letter was crafted with care, a testament to the relationships they nurtured and cherished. The youngest among them, a child with eyes full of wonder, listened intently. To them, the idea of sending a letter was like sending a piece of their heart across the miles. In their small hands, they clutched a colorful envelope, adorned with stickers and drawings. It was a letter for their grandmother, filled with stories of school and the latest comic book they had read. The child imagined the joy it would bring to their grandmother's face, a moment of shared laughter and love despite the distance. As breakfast came to an end, the family gathered their letters, preparing to send them off on their journey. The postbox at the end of the lane awaited them, a loyal confidant ready to carry their words to the far corners of the world. With each step along the path, there was a sense of purpose, a feeling that they were part of something larger than themselves. The letters were more than just paper and ink. They were lifelines, connections that transcended time and space. At the postbox, they paused for a moment, each taking their turn to slip their letter into its waiting mouth. There was a collective sigh of contentment as the last envelope disappeared from view, a silent promise that their words would soon reach those they loved. As they turned to head back home, the child tugged at their parents' hand, a question in their eyes. "Do you think she'll write back soon?" the child asked, their voice full of hope. The parents smiled, nodding gently. "I'm sure she will. And when she does, it will be like opening a little treasure chest, filled with stories and love just for us." They walked back together, hand in hand, their hearts light with the knowledge that they had sent a piece of themselves out into the world. The day stretched ahead of them, filled with the promise of new memories and the anticipation of letters yet to come. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the family went about their day, each carrying with them the warmth of the morning's ritual. There was comfort in knowing that somewhere out there, their letters were making their way through the world, bringing smiles and joy to those they held dear. In the quiet moments that followed, they found themselves reflecting on the power of words, on the way a simple letter could bridge the gap between hearts. It was a reminder that no matter how far apart they might be, they were never truly alone. The letters were a testament to the bonds they shared, a celebration of the connections that defined their lives. And so, as the day unfolded, they moved through it with a sense of connection, an invisible thread that tied their hearts to those they loved. The letters, penned with care and sealed with affection, were more than just words on paper. They were lifelines, carrying whispers of home to those who longed for its comfort. Amidst the rolling hills and sprawling camps of the Civil War, 3 individuals found solace in the steady rhythm of writing. Each stroke of the pen was a deliberate act of hope, a bridge across distance and time. There was Robert, a young soldier from Virginia, whose letters home were filled with the earnest musings of a man trying to make sense of the world around him. He wrote of the landscape, the endless skies, and the camaraderie that buoyed his spirits even in the hardest of times. His words, though simple, were infused with a warmth that spoke of a deep love for those he held dear. In one letter, Robert described a scene that unfolded before him one quiet evening. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the camp. The air was filled with the soft murmur of voices, the gentle clinking of tin cups as soldiers gathered around makeshift tables. There was a sense of peace that belied the chaos that lay just beyond the edge of the firelight. Robert wrote of the fire's glow, how it flickered like stars captured in a jar, and how it reminded him of the nights spent on his family's porch, where stories were told and laughter flowed as freely as the summer breeze. Meanwhile, in a small town in Pennsylvania, Mary, a nurse tending to the wounded, found her own way to connect through letters. Her days were filled with the demands of caring for those in her charge, yet she always found a moment to sit by the window with paper and ink. Her letters were tender, filled with the quiet strength of someone who understood the power of compassion. She wrote to her sister, sharing snippets of her day. The gentle rustle of autumn leaves, the soft light that filtered through the hospital windows, the quiet moments of reflection that sustained her. Mary's words painted a picture of resilience, of finding beauty even in the midst of hardship. She recounted a morning when the first frost had dusted the ground, transforming the landscape into a delicate tapestry of white. As she walked to the hospital, she marveled at the way the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the sun to melt the frost into sparkling droplets. It was a reminder, she wrote, that even the coldest times could hold a promise of warmth and renewal. And there was Thomas, a chaplain who traveled from camp to camp, offering solace and support to those who needed it most. His letters were a balm, filled with quiet wisdom and a gentle humor that lifted the spirits of all who read them. He wrote to his congregation back home, sharing tales of the soldiers he met, the hymns they sang together, and the small moments of grace that punctuated his days. In one missive, Thomas reflected on a service he held under the open sky. The soldiers had gathered, their voices rising in song as the first stars appeared in the night. There was a hush, a sacred stillness that enveloped them. And in that moment, Thomas felt a profound connection to something greater than himself. He wrote of the power of faith, of how it bound them together in hope and love, and how, even in the darkest times, it was a light that guided their way. As the letters made their way across the miles, they carried with them the essence of those who wrote them. They were tokens of love, reminders of home, and expressions of a shared humanity that transcended the boundaries of war. Was a piece of the writer's heart, a testament to the enduring power of connection. And so, as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Robert, Mary, and Thomas continued to write, their letters weaving a tapestry of voices that echoed through the corridors of time. They wrote of the small joys that punctuated their days, the friendships that sustained them, and the dreams that carried them forward. In their words, they found solace and strength, and in the act of writing, they discovered a quiet resilience that nourished their souls. Through the letters, they shared their lives, the laughter, the tears, the hopes, and the fears. And in doing so, they forged connections that would endure long after the ink had faded. The letters were a testament to the bonds of friendship and love, a reminder that, no matter the distance, they were never truly alone. In the quiet moments that followed, as the world around them settled into a gentle rhythm, they found comfort in the knowledge that their voices would always be heard, their stories always cherished. The letters, with their whispered promises and tender reassurances, became a lullaby that cradled their hearts, a song of hope that carried them through the night. As the letters continued to weave their gentle tapestry, the rhythm of life on the Civil War Frontlines unfolded with an ever-present blend of routine and subtle change. In the small towns that dotted the landscape, the echoes of distant conflict were tempered by the familiar sounds of daily life. The steady clop of horses' hooves on cobblestone streets mingled with the soft murmur of townsfolk exchanging greetings, their voices rising and falling like a comforting melody that knit the community together. The blacksmith's hammer rang out with a rhythmic precision, shaping iron with a skill passed down through generations, while the scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the local bakery, offering a warm reminder of the comforts of home. Down by the river, life moved at a slower pace, the gentle lapping of water against the banks providing a soothing backdrop to the day's activities. Fishermen cast their lines with practiced ease, their eyes scanning the surface for signs of movement beneath the water's tranquil facade. Children, their laughter ringing out like chimes in the breeze, skipped stones across the current, each splash a momentary disruption in the river's serene flow. Nearby, women gathered to wash clothes, the rhythmic motion of their hands a testament to the enduring rhythms of life, even amidst the uncertainty of war. Trail etiquette, a silent code among those who traversed the well-worn paths, dictated the interactions between travelers. A nod of acknowledgement, a shared smile, or a few words exchanged in passing were all part of this unspoken language, a gentle reminder of the shared journey that connected them all. The trails, winding through forests and fields, bore witness to countless stories, their paths etched with the footprints of those who had come before. In the towns and along the rivers, local customs thrived, offering a sense of continuity and stability. The market square, bustling with activity, was a hub of commerce and conversation. Vendors called out to passers-by, their stalls laden with goods from near and far. The vibrant colors of fresh produce, the rich scents of spices, and the tactile pleasure of finely woven fabrics created a sensory tapestry that enveloped all who wandered through. Here, stories were exchanged along with goods, each transaction a thread in the larger fabric of community life. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the towns and trails adopted a quieter demeanor. The evening air, cool and gentle, carried the faint strains of music from a nearby gathering, a fiddle's plaintive notes weaving through the twilight like a whispered promise of peace. In the distance, the faint glow of lanterns flickered to life, casting a warm, golden light that danced across the walls of homes and shops, creating a comforting cocoon against the encroaching darkness. In these moments, as the world settled into its nocturnal rhythm, there was a sense of connection that transcended the physical distance between individuals. It was a reminder that, even in the midst of conflict, the bonds of community and the simple joys of everyday life could offer solace and strength. And so, as the night unfolded, these small interludes became a gentle lullaby, cradling the weary in a soothing embrace and whispering promises of hope and resilience in the face of uncertainty. The quiet town nestled along the riverbank seemed to breathe in rhythm with the gentle flow of water, its sounds weaving a tapestry of life that enveloped the night. The low murmur of the river, like a contented sigh, mingled with the distant crooning of crickets, their song rising and falling in a harmonious cadence. Occasionally, the soft hoot of an owl punctuated the stillness, its call echoing through the trees and bouncing off the wooden facades of the sleepy houses. In this tranquil setting, the town's customs revealed themselves in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. The townsfolk, like the river itself, had a rhythm, a flow to their lives that respected the natural world surrounding them. It was said that if you listened closely, you could hear the stories of the river in the rustle of the leaves, tales of times long past, when the water was the lifeblood of the community. This respect for nature was woven into the very fabric of the town's identity. The river, with its gentle habits, was a constant companion to the townspeople, who often gathered along its banks during the day. In the early morning light, you could see fishermen casting their lines, their movements a dance of patience and precision. Children too would find their way to the river's edge, skipping stones and chasing dragonflies that flitted around like tiny iridescent fairies. As day gave way to night, the trail that wound alongside the river became a place of quiet reflection. Couples strolled hand in hand, their whispers blending with the rustling leaves, while solitary walkers found solace in the solitude, their thoughts wandering as freely as the river itself. Trail etiquette dictated a mutual respect among those who traversed it, a nod of acknowledgement, a gentle smile exchanged as paths crossed, a shared understanding that this space was sacred. Townsfolk held a deep-seated belief in the power of community, one that was reflected in their local customs. Each evening, as the sky darkened and stars began to prick the canvas above, lanterns would be lit along the main street. These lanterns, crafted by the hands of local artisans, cast a warm, welcoming glow that seemed to hug the cobblestones. It was a tradition that signified connection, a symbol of the light each person brought to the community. In the heart of the town, the old clock tower stood sentinel, its hands moving with deliberate purpose. It chimed softly on the hour, a sound that resonated like a gentle reminder of time's passage, urging the townsfolk to cherish each moment. It was said that if you stood beneath it at midnight, you could hear the whispers of the past, stories carried on the wind from those who had walked these streets before. Local customs also dictated a ritual of sharing, a practice that brought the community together in both joy and hardship. Neighbors exchanged goods from their gardens, offering baskets of ripe tomatoes or freshly baked bread, each gift a token of goodwill. During harvest festivals, the town square came alive with laughter and music, a celebration of the bounty of the land and the spirit of togetherness. As the night deepened, the sounds of the town softened, like a symphony drawing to a gentle close. The river continued its eternal journey, a reminder of the constant flow of life and the resilience of those who called this place home. In this quiet corner of the world, the stories of the land and its people intertwined, creating a narrative as rich and enduring as the river itself. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, the town settled into slumber, cradled by the whispers of the night and the promise of a new dawn. In the stillness of the night, as the town drifted into a peaceful slumber, the world beyond its borders was in the throes of great change. The war, with all its complexities and distant echoes, formed a backdrop to the everyday lives of those who lived through it. It was a time when the ordinary and the extraordinary intertwined, where moments of serene routine unfolded against a tapestry of historical shifts. One could imagine the gentle rustle of letters being unfolded, their pages worn soft by the hands that had penned them. These letters carried news from the front lines, written by men like Thomas, who had made it a ritual to write to his family each week. His words were simple, yet they held the weight of someone striving to remain connected to the world he had left behind. He wrote to his sister about the rhythm of life in camp, the camaraderie among the men, and the small comforts they found in shared stories and songs. He would describe the sound of the bugle call in the morning, the crisp air that greeted them as they stepped from their tents, and the sight of the sun rising over the distant hills, painting the sky with hues of gold and rose. In another part of the camp, James, a young soldier from the Midwest, found solace in writing as well. His letters, addressed to his childhood friend, captured the essence of their shared dreams and aspirations. He recounted the long days of marching, the laughter shared around the campfire, and the rare moments of stillness when he could gaze at the stars, feeling a kinship with those who had come before him. The stars, he wrote, were like old friends, their light a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope remained. As the war progressed, the landscape of the nation was subtly transformed. Railways expanded their reach, becoming vital arteries that connected distant towns and bustling cities. The rhythmic clatter of trains passing through the night became a familiar sound, a reminder of the relentless forward march of time. These iron horses carried not only supplies and troops, but also the hopes and fears of a nation divided yet yearning for unity. The telegraph, with its rapid-fire messages, brought news from the battlefields to the home front with unprecedented speed. Families gathered around the telegraph offices, awaiting word of loved ones, their hearts buoyed by hope and tempered by the knowledge of uncertainty. Each message, a string of dots and dashes, was a lifeline, a connection that bridged the miles and soothed the longing for reunion. In the towns and villages, life continued with a quiet resilience. Women took up new roles, tending to farms and businesses, sewing uniforms, and organizing aid for the soldiers. They formed societies, meeting in parlors and church basements, their conversations filled with plans for fundraising events and the collection of supplies. Each stitch in a quilt, each jar of preserved fruit, was a testament to their unwavering support and determination. Children, too, played their part, their laughter a balm to the weary hearts of their elders. They mimicked the soldiers they had seen marching through town, their wooden swords and makeshift uniforms a reflection of their admiration and innocence. They listened wide-eyed to the stories of older siblings and neighbors, their imaginations painting vivid pictures of distant lands and heroic deeds. Amid these changes, the seasons continued their timeless cycle. Spring brought with it the promise of renewal, fields blossoming with wildflowers and the air alive with the melody of birds returning home. Summer days stretched long and lazy, the heat shimmering over the fields as farmers toiled under the sun's watchful gaze. Autumn arrived in a blaze of color, the trees adorned in hues of amber and crimson, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. And winter, with its crisp air and snow-blanketed landscapes, wrapped the world in a quiet stillness, a time for reflection and rest. Through it all, the river flowed on, a constant in a world of change. Its waters carried the stories of those it had witnessed, a silent witness to the ebb and flow of life. And in the quiet moments, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began their nightly vigil, the whispers of the past mingled with the hopes of the future, creating a gentle lullaby that cradled the town and its people to sleep. In this tapestry of life, where the ordinary met the extraordinary, each thread was a story, each moment a memory, woven together to create a narrative as enduring as the river's song. And so, as the night deepened, the town lay in quiet repose, its heart beating in time with the rhythms of history, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope. In the quietude of night, under the vast expanse of the sky sprinkled with stars, William found himself enveloped in contemplation. The gentle rustle of the river's flow nearby seemed to echo the thoughts that danced through his mind. Here, in the stillness, memories of the past intertwined with the present, crafting a narrative that felt both personal and universal. He remembered the stories his grandfather had shared, tales of resilience and courage, whispered under the same constellations that now watched over him. The air carried with it the scent of pine and the faint trace of smoke from distant campfires, a reminder of the many nights spent in similar reflection. William's thoughts drifted to his family, far away yet near in his heart. He could almost hear their voices in the gentle breeze, the laughter of his siblings, the comforting words of his mother. These were the moments that grounded him, providing solace amidst the uncertainties of life. As he sat there, the world around him seemed to breathe in unison, the rhythmic chorus of nocturnal creatures providing a soothing backdrop to his reverie. The river, ever flowing, mirrored the passage of time, each ripple a testament to the countless stories it had carried. It was in these reflective moments that William felt a deep connection to the land, to the history that had shaped it, and to the future that awaited. The letters he had received, carefully folded and tucked away, were treasures that bridged the miles between him and home. They spoke of everyday happenings, of seasons changing and crops growing, of the small joys and challenges of daily life. These letters were a thread that connected him to the familiar, a reminder of the life he anticipated returning to. In them, he found comfort and strength, their words a balm for his weary soul. As he pondered these connections, the past seemed to blend seamlessly with the present. The stories of those who had come before, their triumphs and trials, became a part of his own journey. He thought of the generations that had lived and loved, their lives woven into the very fabric of the land. Each story, each memory, was a stitch in the tapestry of history, a testament to the enduring nature of the human spirit. The night air was cool against his skin, a gentle caress that whispered of change and continuity. William felt a sense of peace, a calm that came from understanding his place within the larger narrative. Here, under the canopy of stars, he found a sense of belonging, a connection to those who had walked this path before him, and those who would follow. In this moment of reflection, the world seemed to pause, allowing him to savor the beauty of the present, the quiet murmur of the river, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl. All these sounds formed a symphony that lulled him into a contemplative peace. It was a reminder that life, with all its complexities, was a journey shared by many, a journey enriched by the stories we carry and the connections we cherish. As the night deepened, William's thoughts turned to the future, to the hopes and dreams that lay ahead. He imagined a time when he would once again walk the familiar paths of his hometown, when he would gather with loved ones and share stories of his own. And in this imagining, he found a quiet strength, a resolve to continue forward, buoyed by the knowledge that he was part of something greater. The reflection brought a sense of closure, a gentle conclusion to the day's thoughts. And as he lay down to rest, the soothing sounds of the night enveloped him, carrying him into a peaceful slumber. In the quiet of the night, his dreams mingled with the dreams of those around him, a collective yearning for peace, for connection, for a future bright with possibility. As the boy drifted deeper into his dreams, The whisper of a gentle breeze through the trees carried him to another place, a bridge between the world of his slumber and the waking life he knew so well. This bridge was not made of stone or wood, but of memories and hopes, spun together like an intricate tapestry woven with the threads of time. He found himself standing on this ethereal connection, the surface beneath his feet shimmering with the echoes of laughter and tears, of moments both cherished and forgotten. Each step he took resonated with the stories of those who had walked before him, leaving behind traces of their experiences that guided him gently forward. As he moved along this bridge, he began to see visions of his past, moments that had shaped him, flickering like a film played against the backdrop of the night sky. There was the first time he had seen the ocean, endless and vast, its waves crashing against the shore with a rhythm that spoke to something deep within him. He remembered the feel of sand between his toes, the salty breeze that tangled his hair, and the sense of wonder that had filled his young heart. This memory wove seamlessly into another, the day he learned to ride a bicycle. He could almost feel the handlebars beneath his small hands, the slight wobble of the wheels as he struggled to keep his balance, and the triumphant joy of finally soaring forward, the wind rushing past as he rode down the street. It was a lesson not just in balance, but in perseverance, in believing in himself even when the ground seemed unsteady. The bridge carried him further, into moments of quiet reflection with his grandmother, who always seemed to know the right stories to tell. Her voice was a melody of comfort, weaving tales of her own childhood, of adventures in far-off lands and friendships that spanned a lifetime. Those afternoons spent listening to her stories had taught him the power of words, how they could bridge gaps between generations, between different worlds. These memories were not just static images, they were alive, pulsing with the emotions he had felt during those times. And as he walked, he realized that this bridge was not just a connection to his past, but also a path leading him toward his future. Each step was a choice, each memory a building block for what was to come. In this dreamscape, he saw glimpses of possible futures, like reflections in a river. There was a path where he followed his passion for painting, creating canvases filled with color and life. Another showed him standing on a stage, his voice carrying stories to audiences far and wide, much like his grandmother's had once inspired him. Each vision was a thread of possibility, waiting for him to choose which to weave into the tapestry of his life. As the night deepened, the bridge began to glow softly with the first light of dawn, signaling the return to the waking world. The boy felt a gentle tug, drawing him back, but not before he took one last look at the path he had traveled. He understood now that this bridge was always there, a part of him, accessible whenever he needed to connect the dots between where he had been and where he was going. Awakening with the morning light streaming through his window, the boy felt a sense of peace, a quiet determination to carry the lessons of the night into his day. The dreams, those gentle bridges of reflection, had reminded him of the strength and beauty within him, of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. He rose from his bed, feeling the warmth of the sun on his face, and smiled. With each new day, he knew he could build upon the memories and hopes that formed the foundation of his bridge, stepping confidently into both the present and the future, one dream at a time. In the quiet moments before the day fully awakened, the camp began to stir with the gentle rhythms of its inhabitants. The soft rustling of canvas and the muted clatter of tin cups signaled the start of morning routines. One of the soldiers, whom we shall call James, moved with practiced ease, folding his blanket with care and tucking it neatly into his knapsack. Each fold was precise, a ritual that brought a sense of order to his world. even amidst the chaos of war. Nearby, the soft murmur of voices carried on the morning breeze as others emerged from their tents, drawn towards the flickering light of a makeshift kitchen where a modest breakfast was being prepared. The air was crisp, carrying with it the earthy aroma of freshly brewed coffee, a cherished comfort that connected them all to a semblance of normalcy. James made his way to the communal area where a kettle sat perched over a small fire, steam curling upward like tendrils seeking the sky. A fellow soldier, Thomas, was tending to the fire, stirring the embers with a steady hand. Their eyes met, and a silent nod of understanding passed between them, small gestures that spoke volumes in the language of camaraderie. As James poured himself a cup, the warmth seeped into his hands, offering a quiet reassurance against the chill. The coffee, though simple, was a luxury, a reminder of home and the daily rituals that grounded him. With each sip, he savored the bittersweet taste, letting it awaken his senses and fortify his spirit for the day ahead. The morning light, soft and golden, filtered through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the ground, a canvas painted by nature itself. Elsewhere, Mary, a nurse stationed at a nearby field hospital, began her day with a similar rhythm. Her mornings were marked by the methodical organization of supplies, ensuring that everything was in its rightful place. Bandages, carefully rolled and stacked, formed neat rows in her kit. She counted each one, her fingers moving with practiced precision, her mind attuned to the needs of those she tended to. The hospital tent, though modest, was a sanctuary of healing, where compassion and resilience wove together to mend both body and spirit. Mary paused for a moment, her gaze drifting to a letter she had received the day before. It lay open on a small table, the inked words a bridge to a world beyond the confines of the camp. Her sister's familiar handwriting spoke of home, of everyday life untouched by war, a reminder of the simplicity they once shared. As she read, Mary's heart swelled with a quiet resolve, drawing strength from the love that spanned the miles between them. In the camp, the morning unfolded with a series of gentle routines, each one a thread in the tapestry of their lives. Soldiers took turns at the water pump, filling canteens and washing away the remnants of sleep. The rhythmic creak of the pump handle, the splash of water, and the quiet chatter of voices blended into a symphony of daily life. Nearby, a blacksmith worked diligently, the steady clang of hammer on anvil resonating through the air. Sparks flew in a dance of light, each strike a testament to the skill and strength required to forge tools and repair equipment vital to their survival. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, its warmth spread across the camp, dispelling the last vestiges of night. James, now refreshed and ready, joined his fellow soldiers in the tasks that filled their day. Whether it was mending uniforms, tending to horses, or practicing drills, each activity was a part of the rhythm that sustained them. These small routines, though seemingly mundane, were the anchors that held them steady, grounding them in a sense of purpose and belonging. The day wore on, marked by the ebb and flow of activity. In quieter moments, James found solace in the simple act of writing, his thoughts spilling onto paper as he penned a letter to his family. His words, though plain, carried the weight of his experiences, a glimpse into the life he led far from home. He wrote of the camaraderie he found among his fellow soldiers, the shared laughter and quiet moments that lightened the burden they carried. As he sealed the letter, he hoped it would serve as a bridge, connecting his world to theirs, offering reassurance and a promise of return. As evening approached, the camp settled once more into a gentle hush. The day's work gave way to moments of reflection, where the soldiers gathered around the fire to share stories, their voices mingling with the crackle of flames. James sat among them, his gaze drawn to the stars that began to punctuate the night sky, each one a distant reminder of constancy in an ever-changing world. Found a moment of peace as she stepped outside the hospital tent. The cool night air a welcome relief. She took a deep breath, letting it fill her lungs, grounding her in the present. In the quiet, she listened to the nocturnal symphony. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle murmur of voices carried on the breeze. In these moments, the weight of the day slipped away, leaving behind only the quiet strength that came from shared experiences and the bonds that held them together. As the night deepened, James, Thomas, and Mary each found solace in the routines that defined their days, their lives intertwined by the shared journey they embarked upon, and in the gentle rhythms of their world, they discovered the enduring power of hope, love, and the simple beauty of a life well lived. As the night stretched across the encampment, a gentle mist settled over the ground, weaving through the tents like a silken veil. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, mingled with the faint aroma of smoke from the dwindling campfires. Each breath was a reminder of the chill that crept in with the darkness, wrapping around the soldiers like a cool embrace. The sky above was a tapestry of stars, each one twinkling with a quiet, distant light, offering a sense of continuity in a time of upheaval. James, seated on a rough log near the remnants of the fire, felt the weight of the day begin to loosen its grip, his thoughts drifting like the smoke that curled into the night. The embers glowed softly, casting a warm, flickering light that danced across his face. He found comfort in the familiar routine of this quiet hour, where the world seemed to pause, allowing him a moment of stillness amidst the chaos. His hands, roughened by work and weather, reached for his haversack, the canvas material worn and familiar to his touch. Inside, he found a small tin cup, its surface cool against his skin. He poured a measure of water, watching as it caught the light, glistening like liquid stars in the dim glow. Nearby, Thomas moved with practiced ease, tending to the horses that stood silently in their makeshift corral. Their breath formed soft clouds in the cool air, and their gentle snorts filled the night with a comforting rhythm. He patted the neck of a bay mare, feeling the warmth of her coat beneath his hand, the steady rise and fall of her breathing a reminder of the life and warmth that surrounded him. In the quiet moments, Thomas allowed his mind to wander to thoughts of home, a field stretching endlessly beneath a blue sky, of laughter carried on the wind. Mary, meanwhile, had returned to the hospital tent, where the dim light of a lantern cast soft shadows on the canvas walls. She moved with quiet grace among the cots, her footsteps muffled by the ground beneath her feet. The air inside was tinged with the scent of herbs and the subtle sharpness of antiseptic, a reminder of the care and healing that took place within these walls. Her hands, steady and gentle, moved over a folded blanket, smoothing its surface with a touch that was both tender and sure. The simple act of preparing for the coming day, of ensuring comfort and care, was a solace to her, grounding her in the purpose that filled her days. Outside, the night was alive with sounds that spoke of a world in motion. The rustle of leaves whispered of the wind's passage, while the distant murmur of voices drifted through the air, punctuated occasionally by the call of a night bird. Each sound was a thread in the fabric of the night, weaving together a tapestry that was both vibrant and serene. The soldiers, too, were part of this tapestry, their presence a testament to the enduring spirit that carried them through each day. As James sipped from his tin cup, the water cool and refreshing, he felt a sense of connection to the world around him, to the stars that watched over him, to the earth beneath him, and to the people who shared this journey. It was a connection that transcended time and place, rooted in the shared experiences and quiet moments that defined their lives. In these moments, the noise and turmoil of the world receded, leaving behind a space where hope could take root and grow. Thomas, having finished his tasks, joined James by the fire, his presence a comforting weight in the darkness. They spoke in low tones, their conversation a gentle murmur against the backdrop of the night. They shared stories of home, of family, and of the dreams that sustained them, each word a thread that strengthened the bond between them. In the flickering light, their faces were etched with the lines of experience, their eyes reflecting the quiet determination that had become a part of them. Mary, too, found solace in the company of her fellow nurses, their quiet conversations a balm to the weariness that sometimes threatened to overwhelm. They shared tales of their own, stories of resilience and courage, of moments of laughter and light amidst the shadows. The bonds they formed were forged in the fires of shared experience, strengthened by the knowledge that they were not alone. In the gentle rhythms of the night, as the world around them settled into silence, James, Thomas, and Mary each found a moment of peace. It was a peace born of understanding, of connection, and of the simple beauty found in the everyday details of their lives. The night wrapped around them like a protective cloak, holding them in its embrace and whispering promises of a new day to come. And in that quiet space, they discovered the enduring power of hope, love, and the strength that came from standing together, united in purpose and spirit. In the deepening quiet of the night, the world around James, Thomas, and Mary seemed to hold its breath, as if pausing to honor the moments of tranquility they had found amidst the chaos of their times. The gentle rustling of leaves, stirred by the soft night breeze, provided a natural symphony that accompanied their thoughts. It was in these moments that the weight of their experiences seemed to lift, allowing them to breathe more easily, to feel the gentle embrace of peace and hope. James, as he lay beneath the vast expanse of stars, could feel the earth solid beneath him, a comforting reminder of the constancy of nature amidst the turmoil of the world above. The distant call of a night bird was a lullaby, its notes weaving into his thoughts, carrying away the strains of the day. His mind drifted to thoughts of home, of the familiar sights and sounds that awaited him there. The faces of loved ones, etched in his memory, brought a warmth to his heart, reminding him of the bonds that stretched across the miles, unbroken by distance or time. Thomas, too, found solace in the night. As he sat by the fading embers of the campfire, its warmth still lingering in the air, he allowed his mind to wander. He thought of the letters he had written, the words carefully chosen to convey his experiences without burdening those who would read them. In those letters, he had found a way to bridge the gap between the world he inhabited and the one he longed to return to. The act of writing, of putting pen to paper, had become a ritual of connection, a thread that tied him to the life he had known before. Mary found her own moments of peace in the quiet corners of the hospital tent, where the soft glow of lanterns cast gentle shadows on the canvas walls. Here, in the company of fellow nurses, she found strength in shared stories, in the quiet camaraderie that grew from their shared purpose. Their laughter, soft and subdued, was a balm to the soul, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light could be found. Mary knew that the bonds formed in those moments were lasting, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As the night deepened, the sounds of the camp settled into a gentle rhythm, a symphony of breath and heartbeat that spoke of life continuing, of hope unfurling quietly in the dark. The night sky, vast and unchanging, seemed to hold promises of a new dawn, of a day untouched by the troubles of the past. In that serene space, James, Thomas, and Mary Each found a moment of connection, not only with each other, but with the world around them. It was a connection that transcended the immediacy of their circumstances, reaching into the depths of their being, reminding them of their shared humanity. And so, as the night wrapped them in its embrace, they each found solace in the knowledge that they were not alone. The bonds they had forged, the moments of understanding shared, became a tapestry of strength and resilience, a testament to the enduring power of hope and love. In the quiet of the night, their voices, though silent, became part of a greater chorus, a gentle harmony that spoke of peace, of unity, and of the promise of a brighter tomorrow. This circle of night, where time seemed to stand still, they discovered the quiet strength that lay within, the courage to face the dawn with hearts open to the possibilities it held. And in the gentle rhythms of the night, as the world around them settled into silence, their voices became the hush we share, a soothing lullaby that carried them into dreams of peace and light.